Hello, awesome people. How are you doing? Happy Sunday. I'm so sorry that, I've been meaning to come live, but this is the time that I have the opportune moment to be here. And I just wanted to say a massive big thank you to my Facebook family. I love you all so much. Thank you for the continuous love, support, engagement, follows, shares, stars, subscribing, like just everything. Thank you so much for all the love. I don't know what time it is where you are. Hello, Charmaine. How are you doing, sweetheart? I hope you're doing well. Happy Sunday to everybody. Hello, darling. How are you? Good. So let's have a quick chat here and let's figure some things out. Hello, Trudy. Hello, Sister Stella. How are you doing? I hope you are doing good too. I've been thinking a lot. I had a long conversation with someone I can only describe as an angel in my life today. And we talked about a whole host of things. But one of the biggest lessons that I have learned, this is based on years of experience and reflection, is what I want to share with you today. You know, we women, some men, are very emotional people. And if you're very empathetic, you always feel sorry for other people. You always are trying to find ways to help other people. If you don't rein in your emotions when you're making decisions, you can use your emotions and acting on impulse to make catastrophic, detrimental decisions that can turn something that you meant for good to become a bad action that you took that makes you bite your nose to spite your face. What am I saying? You are living. You're working. The monies that you make from your earnings at the end of the month is barely able to support you yourself in your life. By the time you've paid the bills, there's not much left. Whatever is left, if you're really being intentional about your own life, you're supposed to put those monies aside for a rainy day. You're supposed to save some of your earnings so that you can get on with your life. Then somebody comes into your life and that person is struggling. They can't pay their school fees. They can't have food to eat. Oh, they don't have a place to live. And so whatever little monies that you should be saving for your own future, because you have a job, what shows that you're going to have this job forever and a day? Life is full of ups and downs. You could lose your job tomorrow. When that day happens, what are you going to do? But no. You think that, oh, at least I have a roof over my head. I'm able to feed myself. So, oh, let me just help this person. It's okay. It's my Christian duty to help other people. And I'm not saying don't be generous. Do that. But don't do that to your own detriment, because the Bible says that you need to love your neighbor as your own self. So I have seen people go into their bank accounts, go in even on credit cards, to take monies out of your credit card that you're going to be paying 33% and some on in interest, to give to a colleague, a friend, family, loved one, because you think that they're going through so much, their life is a mess, my condition is a lot better than them, they sound like they're on life support, so let me help them out. Honey, when the cookie crumbles and you are in need, you need somebody to bail you out too. What I find is that the good people, the empaths, the people who are there for other people, never have people to stand with you when you're going through the challenging phases of your life. Sometimes you see people in the dumps. You raise them from nothingness and you try to support them. once they find a standing, grounding, and a place to stand, they forget all the good that you did. They don't even know what sacrifices and what it took for you to be able to help them. And they tell you with their actions just how stupid you've been. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine not too long ago, and she shared a story about how she worked so hard while she was in university, and she took on someone to even come and share her bed that she was sleeping on in university with her because the person was struggling. She was working, supporting this person. The person was looking for a job. Nothing was forthcoming. Finally, after helping her apply for a job, she finally got shortlisted for an interview. Even money to go for this interview. The person didn't have it. She went to the bank, took money off her credit card, and gave it to this friend of hers to get a taxi to go to this interview place so as to not lose a job. She gets the job, she starts working, but it's going to take time for this person to get paid. So she paid her first and last month's rent, got her food, and continued to do this for a long time until this person settled, started making money. As life would have it, she also lost her job. This person knew that back in the day, this was the same person that would share her bed with me. But now that I have money, now that I'm on the up and my friend who helped me, kept me alive for years, is on the downs, let me also stretch forth a hand and support her back. No, she never called her. She didn't even check on her to see whether she was dead or alive. She just faded into the sunset because she couldn't be bothered. Whether she lived, didn't live, it was none of her business. If my friend had saved whatever little money she got at the end of it all, when she paid her own bills, she had saved the rest of it on one side and kept doing that over time. Then when she lost her job, at least for the next 2-3 months, she would have something to cushion her in her down times. But no, she took a bit of what she had, the most of what she had, that she could have saved for her own self, and supported her friend with that. But when it came down to it, she was the one who was out there in the dumps with absolutely nothing. There's another friend of mine that I know, and none of these people mind me sharing their stories. They know what I do and have given me every authorization necessary. I'm not trying to invade anybody's privacy here, but I'm sharing these stories with you in the hope that you would hear what I've said and you'd learn the valuable lessons from what has to be said here today. There's another friend of mine who was sick, real bad. And along the line, she met this guy who helped her through the down times. She was down and out, couldn't do nothing for herself. So this man was there, supported her through it all, was there for her and all of that. And then as life would have it, a few years down the line, the man was also down and out. By this time, this friend of mine had recovered and was okay. So she felt, why not? This man was there for me when all my friends had abandoned me, when nobody would even look me in the face. So one good turn deserves another. Let me help this man out. She took him in. As time goes on, they even got into a relationship. They were actually boyfriend and girlfriend, dating. They lived together. This girl knew that the man was down in the dumps, so he didn't pay for anything. She paid the rent, the mortgage, utility bills, fed him, put fuel in his car to go look for work, everything for years. One day, this young lady was unwell. and she had to go lay down for a time. She had given money to this man to go buy some food. He came, he cooked the food. She couldn't even eat the food, and she went back to bed. This man ate the food, cleaned up everything, took off his clothes, and was lying in the couch, watching TV, whilst this woman was asleep. Then in the middle of the night, she woke up because she felt like throwing up, and she went into the bathroom to go, do the do. And she could hear this man in the living room talking and laughing and speaking a different language. Hello, Ellen, darling. How are you doing? Thinking that she doesn't understand that other language that he was speaking with whoever he was talking to, and having a good time with that. He was, in the dawn time, he was having this chat, laughing his head off. So, she threw up, did whatever, cleaned herself up, and came back and went back to lay down in the bedroom. But she could still hear a lot of noise in the background, and was thinking, what at all is going on that at 2 o'clock in this morning? What could my boyfriend possibly be doing? Who could he be possibly talking to at this time of the night when I'm trying to sleep? Only to go in the living room and find this man having mobile phone intimacy with another woman on the phone. This man had forgotten all the good that this woman had done, took him in when he was nothing, clothed him, bathed him, feed him, everything for 3 years, and was now fading into the sunset, lying in her house with some other person. If we're going to start talking about these sorts of stories, we'll be here till thy kingdom come. What point am I trying to make here? Sometimes it's much better when you hear other people's stories to just take $10, £10, £50, whatever you know that you can comfortably give to somebody, and consider it money that is lost, that you're not going to get back, or you're able to give as a gift to somebody and not even think about it. Do that. But many of us would go through and do things, the unthinkable things, put our head on the line for other people. But when it comes to actually remembering the sacrifices that you made, these people turn around and bite you in the butt. My friend Charmaine says 3 years. He took way too long to find a job. Thank you very much. But these are some of the ways in which people are taking undue advantage of other people's kindness and using you to the point where you can't even see that the person is using you. And in this case, I'm actually going to step a step further and say that a lot of the times we always blame the other party. He took advantage of my goodness. He took advantage of my generosity. You positioned yourself and allowed yourself to be taken advantage of. And this is why you're in the position in which you find yourself. Decisions that are made out of impulse, emotions. Oh, this person's thing is so sad. This is a very miserable situation that this person finds themselves in. Or sometimes we do things because if we don't do it aesthetically, it's not going to look nice. How can I be this person's friend? If I don't do it now, everybody is going to say I'm a bad person. So I have to do it. You know you can't afford it. You know it, that you can't afford it. But because of what other people might say about you, because of what society might say about you, you're forcing yourself to do things that you can ill afford. And that is why when they bite you in the backside, it hurts so much. Because you know that that is sacrificial money that you could have done something else with in your lifetime. But you didn't prioritize yourself. You prioritize somebody else and their needs to your own detriment. Today, there's so many people that other people have borrowed monies from and have refused to pay. They will tell you they are sick and they are on life support. If your money doesn't come, they don't know where their next meal is going to come from. Or they are dying. They need you to help them. Then you take your money, your hard-earned cash, that you should probably save because you don't know what's around the corner for you. Or maybe you live in the West and you have access to credit. Yeah, you have access to credit. But credit is available for certain specific kinds of needs. Not for you to take money, advance cash payment, give it to somebody else, and then spend the rest of your life and some trying to pay that same money that you took out back with interest. How many people haven't I seen make this grave mistake? Go take money off your credit card and lend it to somebody. When the person is paying you back, are they paying you back with that 33% interest that you have to pay on the loan that you took for somebody else? So this is double whammy jeopardy for you. Because you've taken $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is, plus 33% APR on that loan. When a person is giving you the money back, they'll tell you they can't afford it. Oh, please give me $1,000. I'll give it back to you in the next month. I just need to. There's this big thing that has happened to me. It was unforeseen, and I'll pay you back. Yeah. You go within 24 hours, turn around, you've taken money, you've closed some account, and you've given the money to them. That 2 weeks comes and passes and they've blocked you off their phone. You can't even get hold of them anymore. You call their phone, they can see your call, they will not answer. If you're lucky, 6 months later, they'll come and tell you, oh, they are calling just to let you know they're going through some difficult challenges and they don't have the money now. So they don't want to promise you they'll give you the money when they have it. So if it's going to take them 10 years to give you that money back, that's what it's taking. And a lot of the times, actually, they never pay you back. So when you find yourself in these kinds of situations, what are you going to do? You've taken money off your credit card to lend to somebody else. You've told them you yourself are not sitting very well. But just because of the relationship you have with them, you want to help them out of their issue. And you're trusting. You are trusting that the person's word is their bond. And so whatever they're saying that they're going to do, they're actually going to honor it and do it. But half of the time, they don't. So now you have to pay back plus interest for all the goodness that you had in your heart for other people. I was sharing yesterday about a friend of mine who has gone through life paying school fees, doing this, doing that for her brother, doing this for the sister, doing this for the cousin, doing this for that person. And yet when she turns around and needs help, these same people that she tried to keep alive, today have become somebody and have the nerve to tell her, well, I'm not your slave. If you need people to help you do, go find somebody else. I ain't got time. The same people. I remember reading a post on social media, on Facebook before, where somebody says that they've been beaten so badly. And at first, when the elderly used to say that sometimes when you meet somebody in a ditch, fetch water and pour it on them in the ditch so they can sink further. He used to think about it as wickedness. He never really understood the moral of the story that was being shared, or the knowledge and the wisdom in what was being said there. Some people will call it, you're being selfish, you're wicked, you're cruel, you're this, you're that. But honey, before you stretch out your hand to do any huge monumental assistance for somebody else, if you would listen to me and you would take it from me, make sure that you've positioned your own self proper before you start doing and committing to things that you can ill afford. Because honey, there is no blessing in anything that you are giving away to somebody else and attaching so much emotional baggage and a hold from the core of your heart to. Because you know that this is not something that you can afford, but you're just doing it to please the masses. There is no blessing in that. Always make sure that you're standing right. Always make sure that you have enough for your own self first before you stretch forth your hand to try to save somebody else's life. This has nothing to do with wickedness. It's called self-preservation. It's called self-love. It's called self-care. Because the mind and the heart of man is desperately wicked. Desperately wicked. And when you lack, when you're in need, and you're that kind of empathetic person, always feeling sorry for other people, always wanting to solve this problem, that problem, this problem for other people, why is it that you never have help when you come into need? When you are also on life support and you're looking for people to stand with you, how comes you never find anybody? Because other people think you're just so stupid. They don't know what to do with your money. You are not a good custodian of money. You don't know how to save. You don't know how to do ABCD. And so you go through the challenges that you go through on those bases. I am pleading with you. Don't allow emotion, the emotion of empathy, the emotion of so-called love, what I call stupid love, blind you and hold you spellbound into making stupid, detrimental mistakes that end you in the dumps with nothing. Very few people are able to recover from such circumstances when it happens to them. You're in a relationship with somebody. Whether it's a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. One party is so selfish that they always want the coming to be coming to them. They are never giving, ever. It's always one-way street. Whether it's your brother, it's your boyfriend, it's your best friend, it's your whatever. Life is always transactional. It's always a two-way street. You cannot reap where you have not sown. That is just the medium of exchange in this life. I got a message. I'm sorry, Solomon. I'll check in my messages. I get inundated with so much. You can't begin to imagine it. So I do apologize if I haven't come back to you. One Yahoo boy told me he has heart problems using his mother's phone. I got someone in Nigeria to call his mom to ask if he's okay. The mother says his son is very okay, and I just blocked that idiot. Oh, people like that you don't even take seriously. People, these are even people that you know. Your own friends, your own family. People that you're close to, they are the ones who do these things to you. Don't allow anybody to take undue advantage of your kindness, your goodness. Hello, Sister Matilda. How are you doing, darling? Don't allow anybody to take undue advantage of you and use you in that manner just because they think you're so stupid. Don't do it. We women, you know, we're very emotional beings. We love hard. That's not to say our brothers don't. Some of our brothers who love hard, they love hard too. Thank you so much, darling. But we women, we love with our hearts first before we think with our brains what it is that we are doing. Please, don't make these dreadful, catastrophic mistakes, because a lot of the times, you just can't recover from them. When you board a plane, I've said this how many times? When you board a plane, you sit down, you're all excited, blah, blah. In the event of turbulence, oxygen mask would automatically drop, blah, blah, blah. You know the whole thing. Fix your own mask first and start breathing some oxygen in so that you have it within you to have the physical strength to be able to assist your neighbor who is struggling to fit theirs. It does not say leave your own. Start suffocating and fix his first so you can fix yours. That's not how it works. But so many of us, do you know how many women contact me backdoor with the same kinds of stories that I'm telling you? That wished they had done things differently. We've all been on social media here a few weeks back. There was this woman who was sitting in the rain, almost down to her birthday suit, cussing this young boy because she was a nurse back in Ghana. And she worked hard, raised capital, thinking if she got her boyfriend abroad and helped the boyfriend one day when he made it and he got whatever, maybe, just maybe, he would remember what she did for him. And maybe come and take her from Ghana to the States too, and they can live happily ever after. This young boy played the game. Got this girl to pre-finance everything till this boy traveled. 50,000 Ghana cedis is not something that, it's not chicken change. Even in US dollars, it's a lot of money. Just going to convert that just to see how much that is in US dollars. And then you can all tell me how long it takes. Those of us who are out here, how long does it take and how much work do you have to do to earn that kind of money? This is 4,402 US dollars. Is it easy to get $4,000? You tell me. How many hours of work do you have to do? Assuming you're even paid $50 an hour for your work, and that must be some kind of work. How many hours do you have to put in? And how many weeks and months do you have to work to raise that sort of money after tax, net income, to give to somebody else, to support somebody else's dreams to your own detriment? And when the person fades, gets onto the other side of life, they've forgotten the people who stood, the people who gave everything. Taking that kind of money is like losing a kidney. That's what she did. And now this man has gone over to the other side, has met another woman, having a marvelous, fantastic time, even forgot where he came from. And is telling this woman just how stupid she was. Doesn't pick up her calls anymore, doesn't want nothing to do with her. Because now he used her to get where he needed to get to. My darling sister, my darling brother, You're in secondary school, you're in university. Your parents are the ones supporting you. You've only just come out of school. You started your first job. And you're making some little buck on the side. Good times don't last for a lifetime. Learn to save your money. Learn to invest your money for a rainy day. Because when the chips are down, when you're in need, this same good person that will donate your kidney or half of your lung for somebody else, you would find that when it comes down to your time and you're looking desperately for people to stand with you, you will not find anyone. People forget so quickly when they're in need. The people who stood and assisted and supported them through thick and thin. That's human nature and human beings for you. Very wicked animals. And when I say things like this, people get upset, but I just have to say it how it is. And I find that when somebody says something that hurts you, not hurt us in it makes you feel sad, but when it pierces your heart, you sit up in attention and you listen. It is only somebody who loves you who can tell you the raw, plain, unadulterated truth without any fear, let, or anything, and give it to you raw for who you are, for you to use that to heal yourself. You know, sometimes when you have a boil or some kind of a swelling on any part of your body, you find that your lymphatic system is all over the place. You find that your armpits, if the thing is on your upper body, you find that it's almost as if there's something, swollen in your armpits because you have some swelling on the upper part of your body. If the swelling is down below your hip, you might find that you have a swelling in your groin because of whatever is going on. And if this infection is really bad, you find that your so it's in the top, it's in the bottom, it's just everywhere because the infection is that bad. The point I'm making here is that until you go through the pain of squeezing the pus out of this boil or whatever it is that you have, there cannot be any true healing. You can be pampering it and, oh, it hurts too much. If I try to squeeze this out of it, it's going to hurt and all of that. But the pus is just the infected thing. It needs to come out. And until it's done that, there ain't no healing that's coming to you. I don't know who I'm talking to this afternoon, evening for some people. But the point I'm making to you right here, right now is that there are so many people that forget too quickly just how much good other people have done for them. Sometimes it's not even financial. One of the most expensive commodities in this life that nobody can ever pay you back on is your time. So if you call me and I spend 2 hours of my time listening to what you have to say to me and giving you advice, consoling you, being there through the thick and thin when you were crying and you were helpless, I hope that you cherish that because you've taken a piece of my life that I'll never get back again. But I prioritized you at that time because I felt that you were worth my time. That is a priceless asset that you can never get back. Today is the 27th of August in 2023. When it's gone, it ain't coming back. There's never going to be no other 27th of August of 2023 ever again. It's gone, it's gone. So when somebody takes time to listen to what you have to say, to advise you, to support you, to be there for you, to hold you when you're down. I hope that when you're in the apps, you actually recognize the sacrifice that that person has made for you. But oftentimes, a lot of us don't think, oh, but what did they do for me? Never look down or devalue somebody giving you their most priceless asset, time. We are all only here for a finite time, 80 years, 60, the number of your days, whatever that happens to be. So for somebody to take time out of their busy schedule to make time for you and your things that you're going through, I hope that people actually have the capability of valuing and treasuring how important and how actually sacred it is for somebody to take time, 24 hours of a day, to listen to you. And then for somebody to work hard, 8-hour days, 12-hour days. I know some people that even work 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And when these people have stretched forth their hand out of empathy, out of the goodness of their hearts, out of whatever to help you, then you spit in their face and tell them just how stupid they've been for helping you when you were down and out. There are some women who have done it to some men. And so now there's so many bitter men out there who think that all women are just horrible people that other want to take advantage of other people. There are women that men have also done that too. And so women also think that men are also the most horrible people ever. They will never do anything to help them. Sometimes when people are acting out, you don't understand. A lot of people are acting out of the experiences that they've been through, that have shaped them as humans. How many women haven't supported men when they were nothing? There's this older auntie that I have who supported her husband when all he had was one pair of khaki trousers and a pair of shoes. Supported him, cook for him, take her nursing allowance, move heaven and earth for this guy. Yeah, he became somebody very profound later on in life. What was the thank you she got? He went and had 3 other children with some other woman outside of their marriage. And it was 13 years later that she found out what his biggest secret in life was. When he was nothing, living in a madhouse, didn't even know when his next meal was going to come from. That is where this woman met him. But when he became somebody, he forgot all about how this woman had saved him, what had happened at that time, how she gave up everything she had to support him. And the biggest, utmost betrayal, to go and be having 3 whole children, 3 whole other human beings with somebody else. And for it to take a good 13 years, lying in this bed with this man, sleeping with him, eating with him, advising, talking, for her to now find out that this same man that I thought I knew had a whole new family and a whole different life somewhere else. And there's so many stories like this one. And it's not just the sisters that are victims, the brothers too. There's so many of my sisters who do things that make my heart bleed so much. that sometimes I ask myself how embarrassed they've made some of us women feel to also call ourselves women. Why? You've met somebody's son. They love you more than sense, and you're with them. You know full well you don't love him. Why are you with him? Why? But some women will be quiet, pretend. I saw this video on TikTok yesterday and it brought tears to my eyes. This girl was married to a man and they had 2 children as far as he was concerned. This man had raised these children as his own for a decade and some. But then he could see like the features of the children were just so completely different to their moms and to his. And he had these suspicions. So he decided that he was going to take the kids for, DNA. He trusted his guts. He took the kids from school one day and took them to have it done. And neither one of these 2 children were his. He didn't confront the wife. He didn't say nothing. But children, they were 10 and 8. They told their mom how their dad had taken them somewhere after school and they did this, that, and that. And so she instinctively knew what had happened. She calls the real biological father of the children. And the husband that she was married to, who wasn't their father biologically, this guy was into money. He was rich, had a lot of assets. And so it was clear that the only reason why this woman married this guy was because she wanted what he had. Not because he loved her or she loved him. So she calls the father of the children, the biological father of the children, and he comes up with this idea that they should take the man out. Oh, hello, Marceline. God bless you. They should take the other father out so that the woman can have access to his properties. So they came up with a plan. He taught her how to, put in his food and all of that. And she did it. And this man, unfortunately, is 6 foot under. She played the victim, the widow. People were feeling sorry for her. A few months later, the will was read. She was the one that stood to get everything. She's happy. She thought she was just going to fade into the sunset and that will be the end of the story. Okay. She gets everything. She's happy with the children. Now the father of the children, the real father, the biological father, he also wants to have his piece of the pie, and she doesn't want to bring him to the house and also give him some of whatever it is they're enjoying. And he's now threatening to blow her cover and actually tell the authorities that she was the one who poisoned her husband and took him out. And now it's been 2 years since the man has died and his spirit will simply not rest. So she can't sleep at night. And so she's now asking the public, what should she do? So many people said all kinds of things. But if this young woman had just been honest with herself and said, look, I don't love this man, let me just be gone, this man will still be alive today. There's so many people that are full of so much hate. And I am telling you that, there's this adage in the African, shall I say the Ghanaian culture that says that if somebody is going to get you, that's the literal translation. If somebody is going to get you, it is always from your cloth. Like, it means the people that are the closest to you. The cloth that you wear closest to your body. And somebody is going to get hold of you and deal with you. It's always somebody, that you least expect that is going to bite you in your butt. Yeah, exactly. So now they're there, scoring points on each other, Marceline. Nobody knows whether she should tell on him and he should tell on her. And that is what is happening right now. But this poor man who stood and looked after these children as his own, he is 6 foot under. And even from the grave, his spirit is aggrieved. And those people are never going to know no peace. The point I'm making here is that don't allow your emotions, to get the better of you. Don't allow impulses, doing things based on impulse, impulsive decisions. Always being so reactive to everything. And so now, let me just do this. Giving things to people without even thinking about this thing that can I actually afford to do it? Don't think about that. Just do it. And then 5 minutes later, when the dust settles, when that whole, thing eases off you suddenly realize that adrenaline rush that made me do this thing, it was not even well or carefully thought of before you did them. Don't allow your emotions to ruin your life. Yeah, emotions are there to make us have feelings and be able to feel things so that we can react. That is the difference between us and robots. But at the same time, honey, you also need to kick this thing in and use it at all times. Somebody may be listening to me and think that I'm preaching, don't be nice, don't be kind to people. That's not what I'm saying. If I meet somebody outside now and what they need is food, I would give them money to go buy the food. Can I afford to pay rent for them to live in a house? I can't. Can I bring somebody in to come live in my house with me? No. I can't. But if I take 20 or 50 bucks and give it to somebody out there to go find themselves food and sort themselves out so they're still alive, that I can do and not even think about it anymore. Because it was something I could afford to do it. I did it. I forgot about it. It's out of my mind. There's no emotional attachment to that thing. It's just like $50 just got lost. Or I bought myself something and that's the end of the story. That's not the sort of kindness I'm talking about. But using your emotions to act on impulse and do things for people and expect that because you've given everything that you couldn't even afford, you didn't have for somebody, so you're expecting that the other person is going to remember the sacrifice that you made. A lot of the times, they don't give a toss about that. That's what I'm saying to you. Think about it. Ponder over it. Don't just give things to people because that's what will look nice. If I don't do this, my church people would say I'm horrible. Everybody is giving $2,000 to this, so I also ought to give that when you know full well that you ain't got no $2,000 to give. Don't do that. Don't do it. There's so many people sitting here in the West. You yourself, you haven't even arrived. You could probably spend the money that you're giving to somebody else and paying somebody else's school fees to better your own lot in life so that maybe you can get a better job. But what are you doing? You're working all the hours God sent. You're slaving away. You're not even eating right. You're sacrificing your medical health, your own well-being, and sacrificing through sweat, blood, and tears to work hard for somebody else's good, to your own detriment. Hello, Sister Dorcas. How are you doing? Hello, Doreen. It's been ages. I hope you're doing good. What are you doing for your own self? You're busy paying other people's medical bills and tuition fees and this one and hostel dues and this, that, and the other. When was the last time you went for your own medical MOT? When? Do you know what your blood pressure is? Do you even know whether you're in good health? When you're working round the clock and working like a donkey, what have you done for your own self, for your own well-being? When you drop dead tomorrow, do you think those people that you're paying school fees and things for, you think they're going to give a toss about you? That you're not here anymore? Some of them will actually call you stupid. And yet you are the one slaving away for other people to your own detriment. It doesn't make any sense. You don't buy no vitamins for yourself. You don't even eat good food. I know some people living in the West and they eat rice every day. Rice. Every single day. It's rice and pepper you're eating every single day. If you're lucky, they'll fry some egg, so at least there's some protein. Where is the vegetable? They think that is a luxury. But you're paying school fees for somebody else. Do you know what they ate for dinner tonight? Back in Africa, they are having the time of their lives, eating organic food. And you are sitting here eating plastic Chinese rice and pepper so that you can sacrifice for other people. When you're doing this good, what good are you doing for your own self in the process of trying to be generous to other people? Do they even understand the enormity of the sacrifice that you're making for other people? Do they get it? They don't understand and they don't care. That's the truth. You're almost 50. You're living in a shared room with a total stranger that you don't even know. Because that's the only way that you can save up money to look after your relatives back home. Those ungrateful people in your family, those friends of yours that you think that you were brought here to save the world. Oh, Mother Teresa, yeah. And yet, you're not looking after your own self and your own needs. You're sitting abroad. It's all this adult education, the things that you can benefit from. That's going to help you advance yourself. Maybe you're working some 15-hour job in some care home, making $10, $15, $12 an hour job. And that's what you're doing. You're working 6 days a week. I know people who leave their house on Sunday evening and they don't come back to the following Sunday morning to sleep on their own bed. They move from this job to that job to this job to come back to this job, and they're working round the clock. On top of that, they feel very entitled, and most of them will never even remember to say thank you. Oh, I love you so much, Masri. Why should they say thank you? Why? Who asked you to take on board things that have nothing to do with you? Who asked you? Who asked you? Wear your own oxygen mask first and save your own life first before you extend helping hand to somebody else. So you are eating rice and pepper. This night they ate fufu. Some of them have eaten banku and okra soup. All the nice leaves that, have all the nutrients that they need to look good. You are sitting here looking old and lanky and put on so much weight because you're stressed out and all of that, eating junk food that doesn't even make any sense. And they are looking nice and fresh. It doesn't make any sense, darling. It just doesn't. So I'm not saying don't be kind. What about living in West Africa and building a house in Africa? Or living in the West and building a... Well, if that's where you want to retire and there are people there who you can trust with your hard-earned money to build the house for you, don't get me started on this one. I think that's a topic for another day, honey. Maybe tomorrow morning we'll talk about this. I have a lot to say about that too. Don't bite your nose to spite your face, darling. Look after your own needs. Anybody who is working more than half of your day at work, when there's 24 hours in a day, and you need at least 6 hours or 7 hours of sleep, and you're working 3 jobs, how much sleep are you getting? You're getting 3 hours of broken sleep. You come, you work from 9 to 2, you sleep from 2 to 4. By 5 o'clock, you have to be at the next job to 9. And then from 9 o'clock, you drive to the next job at 10 and start from 10 to 6. Then you come home and sleep for 2 hours. And then you go to the 9 to 2 job. You come home and you sleep from 2 to 5. And then you go to the next. Honey, your body would only do that for so long. Maybe in your 20s, you can get away with it. By the time you're 35 and some, high blood pressure has walked up to your door. And it's such a silent killer that it does not usually give you nothing. You just go have your blood pressure checked. 157/89. Eh? What just happened to me? Yeah, because you're sacrificing your health at the expense of some people that you were never responsible for in the first place. Some ungrateful family members of yours that are going to slap you in the face, yeah, after you supported them. That is what you are killing yourself. Sacrificial lamb to be slain to help somebody else. Don't take on board baggages and projects that were never yours to be taken on board in the first place. And my own little experience, anything that you do for somebody that they themselves are not invested with their time and their money, especially money, people don't value it, love. They don't. They think you're made of money. They don't understand the enormity of the sacrifice that you're making in order to make it work for them. Stop paying your sister's children's school fees. And your sister is there. She's had 3 children she can't look after. Because you live abroad and you ain't got no children, oh, you have to look after. It's your responsibility to look after your nieces and nephews. So you're sitting here sacrificing to look after your sister's children or your brother's children. And your brother is still busy making baby-making machine back there. When he had the first and the 2 children and he couldn't look after them, why didn't he stop? Now, he's had 8 children with 2 different women. You are looking after the children. Why should he stop? Why? People would use emotions, emotional blackmail to hold you spellbound if you don't start to use your brains. I will use myself as an example here gladly. When you don't have any children, and on top of it, you're not married, people don't think that you should also have any dreams, aspirations, things that you also want to achieve for yourself in life. And so you now become the target for every Tom, Dick, and Harry in your family if you don't start using your head. And by the time you realize, the people you were helping, they've all taken care of themselves and their future. And you will be the laughing stock. You will have nothing to show for anything that you did. Take it from somebody who knows. You don't have no children. After all, you're not married. What do you use your money for? Who are you? What can you do? After all, you can't have any children. So if you look after what is wrong with It's not your fault. You did not ask anybody else to go have no children. So if somebody is old enough, and I'm going to be crude here, so you get it. If somebody is going to be mature and old enough to spread it out and do to get the baby, then those people also need to be mature enough to step up to the plate and take care of their children. That ain't your job, honey. It ain't your job. It's not your job. Do not do it. Don't do it. But so many of us allow people to talk you into doing things that carry crosses that were never yours to carry in the first place. And you haven't even fixed your own life. You're sitting abroad, you have keke, okada. You don't even own one shirt to your name. You're always going to First Line, Bend Down Boutique, to buy clothes for your own self. But you're sending money to somebody else to go buy fabric, sew dresses. They have the most current Brazilian hair weave on, whatever, that you have never even seen before. Somebody who's not making a dime for you is telling you they want iPhone 14 Pro Max. Oh, yeah. But you are holding Timber phone that doesn't have any gadgets on it, nothing. Just basic, fundamental phone. Oppo phone. See? Oppo phone. That's what you have. But your people, they have acquired taste. And tell you they want iPhone 14 Pro Max. It takes the best pictures. Oh, yeah. And you're also allowing them to take advantage of you and use you in that manner. And you can't even see that that is what is going on. By the time you see, may God have mercy on you. My darling, save your own self first before you stretch forth your hand to try to save anybody else. Because when that day comes and you don't have nothing, ain't nobody coming, love. There is nobody coming. They'll now call you all the most horrific names that are going to hurt your heart so much. You're going to cry tears. And still, nobody would come. Fix your own life first. And don't act on impulse and emotions. Just because you're blood relatives with somebody else doesn't make it your responsibility to look after them. They take the same charity phone that you sent them to gossip about you. Exactly. What is it? She only gave us this common 2,000 CDs that she sent me to. She can't be quiet. She's always making noise. After all, what is it? If it was that easy, how comes you haven't made the 2,000 CDs? Why am I the one that's having to foot your bill for something that you did? Why? Use your head, my sister. Use your head, my brother. Wake up. That is what I've been sent today to tell you. Wake up. You're sleeping. Wake up. Don't allow because he's my blood relation. Oh, because he's my best friend. Oh, if I don't do it, other people will say I'm a bad person. Let them say it. Let them say you're a bad person. So what? Somebody's got to be bad. Why can't it be you? Why? Why? If you go through life worrying about how other people think about you, what people are going to say about you, how other people are going to do, honey, what I'm saying is true, but some of us don't have that heart not to help family. Oh, go ahead, sister or brother. Go ahead. I'm not saying don't help your family. That's not what I'm saying, love. I am saying look after your own self and your needs first. It doesn't make any sense to me, love, that you're making $3,000 a month. Your rent is $2,000. Your feeding and everything, the transport and everything is another $600. You have $400 left. And you send that $400 to your family back home. Tomorrow, when you've lost your job, what are you going to do? When you could have been saving that whole money. You can only give what you can afford. And I've done this video before, and I know that it has always been so problematic for a lot of my own people to understand what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, when you allow people to use their emotions to rule and get the better of you, when it comes down to it, you are the one that's going to shed tears, not them. Not them. It doesn't make any sense to me that you be living abroad and working 17 to 18-hour days. No sleep, no rest, cheating nature, raising your blood pressure, not taking no medication because you can't afford it. Not taking no medication, not even going to see the doctor in the first place to even know what is wrong with you. And sending everything that you have to so-called family back home. One day when you've lost your job, and the country that you live in doesn't even support people when they're unemployed, what would you eat? When they're there eating pounded yam and egusi, they are not going to remember that, oh, you know, our sister used to do it when she had it. They're going to be mad, raving mad. Oh, this woman, she's so wicked. She can't even send money to us anymore. Can't she see that we're struggling? After all, she lives abroad. Blah, 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 blah. That's what happens. As if living abroad is a bed of roses. And it's pouring on the streets. You're walking down the streets lined with honey, gold, and everything in between. Forgetting that you earn every cent that ends up in your bank account. You do this to do that. So if the person living back home hasn't already learned this wisdom of hustling and making their own life for themselves, and think that because you're blood relatives, they owe them something, and they're entitled to everything you have. Honey, you're gonna struggle. You are going to struggle, and that's the truth. I just give it to you as it is. Been there, done that, won the t-shirt and some. Those who feel me, they understand what I'm saying. But those who don't, may the heavens open your eyes to see the wisdom in what I'm saying before it's too late. Because some of the things that I have seen in my little life, I will not wish it on my worst enemy. I'm telling you. The same people that you're laying your life down for will not even raise their toe for you when you're 6 foot under. And I wish that at that time, The heavens will open your eyes to see the folly in what you did. Because people people don't recognize, understand, they can't comprehend the goodness of what you've done. Go and ask brothers and sisters who have taken loans, $50, $60, $100,000, pounds, sent it to their family back home. Let's start a family business that we can all benefit from. And the families took the money. They thought, oh, there should be more where this came from. This is just let's just spend the money. Some gave it to women. They're sleeping with everything in skirt with your hard-earned $50,000, $60,000. And when you now go back and ask for accountability, so all this money that I worked for 10, 15 years to gather, that I gave you, where is it? Oh, you know, this is a family feud. This thing, why we don't have to talk about it. You know, it's just your sister. If your sister spends your money, what's wrong with you? You don't have to be heavy about it. Oh, really? Really? But that same $100,000 could have bought you 2 homes. One that you live in and one that you give out in rent to other people. So that over time, when it builds up over time, and there's equity in that property, a property that you bought for $200,000 can now become double that over time. You could have now taken that $400,000 after selling that house and go put it down on a house that's already been built in your home country and retire peacefully in that house. I've seen people build their retirement home 3 times over. Projects that should cost $50,000, $100,000 ended up costing 4 times as much because people have also built houses on your charity. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. But there is no art to tell the mind's construction in the face until you've lived abroad and you see the enormity of the sacrifice that has to be made in order for people to help others. You might be able to understand. Maybe you might be able to understand. But I've seen people who have worked for 10 years, 15 years doing 3 jobs. And on their way back from one job trying to get to the other, they slept on the bus and never woke up. And all that $50,000, $60,000 they were busy saving. Either the Bank of Canada, Bank of England, Bank of US, America, Bank of whoever has benefited fully from those funds. Oh, honey, it's fine. We all have the ability to do what works for us. You know your family, I don't. But the little I know is that you cannot bite your nose to spite your face. There's no family member of mine, my parents, my siblings, who love me more than sense, that wants me to work 3 jobs and send them money, borrow money off my credit card and send it to them and pay 3 times the amount back because they are blood relatives of mine. And it is my job to look after them because they are relatives of mine. I don't have those kinds of parents. I don't. My parents want me to be sane, healthy, happy, whole. And yes, they looked after me when I was nothing. And if I have anything to give, I would give what I can afford to give. I cannot come and kill myself because they are my parents. I don't think that any one of my parents would appreciate me going to take a loan of $100,000 to give them to buy the most fantastic house to live in, when I am slaving away in 3 jobs for the next 20 years to pay back that money. My parents would rather live in a mud house and know that their daughter is okay up here, because that is what I have. Sometimes we don't understand the Western culture and we get so pissed off with people because we don't understand. You can call the Caucasians, brothers and sisters, horrible and whatever you want to call them, but they empower their children right from infancy that they need to look after themselves. You as a parent, as much as it's important that you raise your children, you need to provide for them because they never asked you to be born, and it is true. You better plan for your own retirement. Stop using your children for investment for future. When I look after them, when I'm now 60, it is their responsibility to look after. They don't owe you nothing. You can call me whatever you want, but it's the truth. Because when you are 60 and your daughter is 25, they are still trying to find their own feet. They've just come out of medical school. They don't have no job. They're trying to start up their own thing. You are now trying to put your burden of responsibility on the shoulders of your children. Do you even love them? Do you love your children? Is that a cross that your children are supposed to be carrying? Or should you have been also putting money aside for your future, because you know one day you're going to be retired? When you're retired, you need a pension that you can feed yourself with. When your children are well-to-do, they're all settled, you don't need to ask your children to do things for you. They love you for you, and they'll support you in any way possible. But not to come and make this some burden of responsibility on them. Their neck is already breaking from the weight of their head. You are now trying to put more load. What kind of love is that? It's not that they don't care, honey. Some of them just don't have the means to be able to afford to do it. That's the truth. When you come out of university, how much are you making? If you live here, you're lucky if you're making 60 grand a year after university. It costs $2,000 some to rent a 1-bedroom flat. 60,000 gross salary. It's probably going to give you 3,000, maybe 3,500 a month. If they're renting an apartment for $2,000, paying electricity, paying for gas, paying for everything, transportation to and from work, and feeding themselves. These are the same children that you want to get married and have children. What money can they send you? We overburden people with things that are not really, in truthfulness, they're burdens and crosses to carry. If you're a responsible adult of your own, it is your responsibility to prepare for your own future and your own pension. Stop using your children's pockets that are the unknown as your pension pot or your pension plan. Start teasing out and figuring out what's going to happen in your own life. If you don't get a private, a government pension through what you do, and even that, how much is that? Start sacrificing some of those monies and put them in a pot for your own future. And don't make this your children's responsibility. They have to buy me a house. I looked after them when they were young. They also have to look after me now that I'm old. They may not be able to do it. Not because they don't. They just can't afford to do it. That's the truth. they should do overtime to help their parents. Oh, when they're already trying to do overtime to save their own selves. I don't know, honey. I don't know. Look after your own self. Pave a way for your own life. And don't feel that you're entitled to somebody else's hard-earned money. They never asked you to give birth to them. I know this topic today is not going to be popular to a lot of you, and you can say whatever you want to say, but I'm telling you, decisions that are made out of impulse and emotions, they are not the best decisions. And we always end up carrying crosses that were never yours to carry in the first place. In your African tradition, children are your walking sticks when you are old. Okay, I'm also African. My parents are carrying walking stick too. Whatever I have that is within my means to afford, I send it to my parents. But I'm telling you that my parents are not expecting me to take 50% of my salary and send it to them because they are my parents. My parents have lived abroad long enough to understand that we pay bills, that I also have a life to live. I have medications to buy. I have a health to support. I have a life to live. I have bills to pay. I have a mortgage to pay. I have rent to pay. I have council tax to pay. I have property tax to pay. Electricity is not free. Mobile phone is not free. I have bills to pay too. I have a life to live too. There's nothing wrong with saying that, speaking that truth. I did not ask my parents to have me. They chose to have me and have my siblings. As parents, it was their job to look after us. I never asked them to go do mommy and daddy business to have me. Oh, don't allow them to listen to my advice, honey. It's fine. It's fine. It's a choice. But the truth is the truth. And the truth alone will set you free. I love my parents more than sense. They gave up everything to make me who I am today. But my parents don't expect me to go and use my credit card that I'm going to pay 33% APR on to go and buy them Lamborghini to drive when I'm working myself, because I just can't afford to do it. If I have the money, my parents don't have to ask me for nothing. I will give them what I have out of the core of my being. If I could build a skyscraper for any people on the surface of this planet, it would be those two people. Because they've sacrificed everything, laid their life on the line for myself and my siblings. They wanted to be responsible parents that we will never stop talking about. But my parents are not sitting there expecting me to go and take $10,000 loan because they gave me everything to give back to them because they looked after me when I was younger. They had me. They had me. It was their choice to have children and to raise those children. They're even looking after their grandchildren now. I know that if you don't open up your mind, you won't understand what I'm saying. You will just take an entrenched position and not want to move away from that position. Hello, big sister Tolu. How are you? Oh, I miss you, darling. But I can only speak the truth. I have seen so much in my life. And I am telling you, if you want to take everything you earn and go give it to your family back home because they raised you and you are your parents' walking stick, go ahead. But me, I'm not going to break my back and kill myself because my parents sacrificed everything for me. I can't. And when somebody genuinely loves you, it is not conditional love. If you don't do this for me, then it means you did not love me. I can only give what I have. and taking money that is not yours off your credit card. It's not money that you have. It's credit that the bank has given to you as a loan. So if I have to take money off my credit card to send to my parents in order for them to buy a Lamborghini and sit in it, it doesn't make any sense. Whilst I slave away like a horse because they looked after me. Nah. When I have money, disposable income, I don't have to borrow no credit from anybody, and I can afford that Lamborghini. I'll buy it before I'm even told to do so. I will build the highest, the tallest skyscraper for them because I can afford to do it with no credit from anybody. It's money that I have. And some of us need to hear this hardcore truth. If you don't start saving some of what you make every month and put it aside, honey, you'll be using credit card for the rest of your life. That's the truth. If you don't sacrifice and put some of what you're making aside every single month, non-stop, no negotiations, just keep doing it. You get to the end of your life and find, I wish I had listened to this silly girl with this crazy hair back then. And by that time, you just don't have the physical capability to be able to make any difference anymore. I love you so much. My spirit doesn't allow me to say things that don't make sense. I won't be able to rest if I misled anybody. But I am telling you, the decisions that you make in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, inform the life that you have another 20, 30 years from now. And there is nothing absolutely deplorable than to see somebody who could have made different choices and had completely different outcomes choosing to struggle because they took on projects that were never theirs to carry in the first place. Look after yourself. Save your own self. Give yourself the opportunity to have good grounding and standing so that you can stretch forth a helping hand to your family, to your loved ones, to the people who need it on the other side of the fence. Don't allow emotions and what people will say to consume you so much that you lose sense of using your brain. And for the last time, you cannot make $4,000 and spend $5,000 every month because you take an extra $1,000 every month from your credit card to support your family. The people that I have seen who do that, they actually resent their parents. There's no blessing in that as far as I'm concerned. The people that have to go and borrow money every single month, as soon as they pay it this month, the next month they're taking it back again. So it's a vicious cycle. It's like a cross. People feel like they're being muscled into death, like they're being suffocated. Don't do it. Just don't do it. And those people resent their parents. They resent their family because they've put them in this vicious cycle where they're never ever escaping this thing. A word to the wise is enough. I've said my own. You don't have to take what I've said. You can do what you like. And let's see what happens in a good few years later when you look back on your life and you never put anything aside for a rainy day for your own self. Now your health is packed in. Now you don't even have, hello Lilias darling. You don't even have the fortitude to even be able to get out there and make the money to right your wrongs. And life is almost closing its door at you. What are you going to do? You can't rely on your children. They're trying to find their own feet. And don't you ever think that that family that you spent anything on is going to remember the sacrifice that you made for them to your own detriment. They're actually going to ask you, so couldn't you put anything aside for yourself? Like, what were you thinking? That's what they're going to ask you when the time comes. I have seen it too often. And I know it hurts. But think about what I'm saying. When you give somebody something that you can afford, that is not bringing with it any sorrow or any burden of responsibility, do you feel anything? Because if my mom asks me for money and $100 is what I have and I give it to her, I feel fulfilled in myself. I don't have to go borrow no money and pay no extra nothing. That is what I have, and that's what I've given her at that time. If I have more, I will give more. If I don't have, I don't have. I can't give what I don't have. And that is the truth. And my parents just love me for who I am. You have to save yourself first before you try to save anybody else. That is the truth. I know, honey. I know. There's so many people who are in almost bankruptcy level debt because of their family and friends and poor choices that they made, trying to support people and take on projects that were never theirs to be taken in the first place. What is the point of buying a house or living in a rented house and you can't even sleep on your own bed? The people who have bought their most comfortable beds, $5,500, they have never even slept in it before. They pile their clothes and their suitcases on the bed. It's gathering dust. And they're moving from job to job to job to job to job to job. Haven't you heard so many people walking around? Oh, you know, they were never sick. Nothing happened to them. They were just here yesterday and now they're not there anymore. Why do you think that happened? Exhaustion. They're not sleeping. They're slaving away for family out there. You're looking after your sister's 2 children. Before you hear she's pregnant again, she's had twins, and you continue this project. And the person that you're looking after, the mindset of the person having the children is God that giveth. The God who has given me the children, he will give me the fortitude to look after them. What happened to using common sense? You couldn't stop at having 2 children because that is even a struggle on its own. You've now had twins and holicizing and making Bible quotation for something that you know you could ill afford. I have a friend whose sister has 5 children. Yeah, and I'm sure she'd have more if she could. Because she's hoping that if, you know, something happens, this friend of mine is going to be the one to so. But she's married with her own 2 children. Should she forfeit looking after her 2 children to help her sister's 5? Is that what we're saying? Cut your coat according to your size. Maybe you missed that video. Go watch it from yesterday. Do things that make sense to you. Don't go and make your own mistakes and expect other people to lay down their lives to help you solve your own problem. You're living in somebody's 1-room, chamber and hall, and you've had 6 children. What were you thinking? Why should it be somebody else? Yeah, Teresa, thank you so much, honey. Once you take the stand in the family, everybody will hate you. Yeah. But nobody has to take your car and be doing the global trip round the 3 jobs every day, 6 days a week. So if I were you, I wouldn't care about who hates me and who loves me. When I drop dead tomorrow, it's my 2 eyes, my 2 hands, my 2 legs, and my big thighs and my big bum that is going into that coffin, not yours. So I will do what makes sense to me. When you go to that doctor tomorrow and they tell you because you're not sleeping, your blood pressure has gone up, now you have to take this medicine, you have to do this, you have cholesterol, you have to do that, you should sleep, you should rest, you should this. It's not those family members of yours back there in wherever, Nigeria, Ghana, Sudan, Eritrea, Kenya, Zimbabwe, Uganda, South Africa. They lie in that bed with you. It's only you. It's only you. So if you want to lay down your life and be a sacrificial lamb to them, that's your choice. Do that. But me, I love my family. I love my daddy. I love my mom. I love my siblings. But I love myself too. And I deserve to live and not die just because I have parents and siblings. I have to look after myself. I have to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep so that my mind can be rested enough for me to do the job that I do and do it effectively. I cannot come and kill myself. If you want to do that, who am I to stand in your way? Go ahead, do that. If it makes you happy and it brings you fulfillment, I take my hat off to you. But me, I am not doing. And you can love me all you want, or you can dislike me all you want. But the truth is the truth. Mr. Prince, I will send you, email me, please, sikaeducates@gmail.com, and I'll send you my number. A word to the wise. It's enough. I said my own. Do what works for you. And always remember at the end of the day to prioritize your own self. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you're sponsoring other people to eat egusi and pounded yam, and eat all the organic food, the mushroom, the this, the that, the prawns, the chicken, the eggs, and all of that, make sure you're eating it too. Stop eating rice and pepper every day and being automated teller machine for other people. That is stupid. Yes, www.sikaeducates.com. That's the website if you want to book a one-on-one session. But if you want to email me, it's just sikaeducates@gmail.com. I love you so much, darling. I've seen enough in this life. I've seen enough in this life. And it was on the basis of all that I've seen, some of the stupid things that are errors in judgment that I've made my own self. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be, I've made my own errors in judgment. Some of the things that I'm telling you are as a result of mistakes that I made, putting other people first before my own self, and what it cost me, and the price that you're having to pay for that. It's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. If you like, listen. If you like, don't. That's one, my own problem. Hey, Ada Beauty. How are you, Ada? Mwah. How are you, sweetheart? No, educates with an S. Teresa. Sika educates with an S @gmail.com, honey. The same name of the page @gmail.com. And my brother, please drop me an email. Instead of sending me your email, Prince, please just drop me a line. Okay? I know. Laugh hard, honey. My sister Adama and I have been friends for a long time. We're talking almost 30 years of friendship. From school to school to school to school, and it's amazing. And she understands exactly what I'm saying. I know my sister Ada would never expect that her children should carry her burden of responsibility and look after her in old age because she had children. She's making sure that she fixes her life so that in old age, she can afford every food that she wants to eat. If she goes to hospital, she can afford medication so that her children can also take their time and build a life for themselves. If you can't understand this simple thing, then I just don't know. But do not use emotions. Don't allow anybody to use emotional blackmail because they're related to you and they know that they can make you feel guilty. It's hard when we learn from our mistakes, but it makes all the sense. Honey, that's all you have. Some of us refuse to learn and we keep repeating it. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results at the end of it. You can't. Learn to love yourself and do things for you first. When you've positioned yourself, when you're giving to other people, it doesn't hurt. There's no remorse, there is no anger and frustration because you're doing it from a pure place of love. And I believe that anything that you give to somebody from a place of love, that's my personal belief, is where the blessing comes from. When you're doing something out of a sense of duty because you feel you're being forced to do it, you know, if you had your own way, you wouldn't do it because you know this is just going to be another 5-year wahala. Why should you do it? Why? Your family sit down one day and everybody has to bring $30,000 to, and you know you don't have it. But because you don't want anybody to know you're struggling, you go to your bank and you take $30,000 loan and send it to your family. Now you're not sleeping in your own bed again. Every day of every week you're working. Another 2 jobs to be able to fund that loan. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Think about it. Think about it. I love you so much, guys. I really do. From the core of my heart, I really do. And I want you to make the best possible decisions so that there's no weeping and gnashing of teeth in later life. Cut your coat according to your size. Do what feels right. Don't take all your savings and pump it into other people expecting them to do anything for you because they won't. Look after your own self. Figure out your own life and your own destiny. Take it from somebody who knows. And I'll leave this one here with you. I love you so much. Have a fantastic week ahead. Do what feels right. Hey, Pastor Patience. Mwah! How are you? I love you. I love your stars. The red, the purple, and the green. I love all those colors. Yay. How are you? If you want to book one-on-one coaching, maybe there's something pressing that you want to talk about. You don't want to talk about it in the public space. You just want to sit one-on-one and talk about them. www.sikaeducates.com. Anything that you want to talk about, from relationships to your health, to figuring out what you're going to do, personal development, raise yourself to the next level of your destiny, anything, that's where to go. www.sikaeducates.com. I don't know who sends remittances to your families back home. I do. I send them what I have. I love your... Pastor Patience just knows how to love, you know. It is amazing. It is awesome. Right? I don't know which one of you, sends remittances to your family. Me, I send them what I have, what I can afford. And I send it through TapTapSend. So if you haven't downloaded the app already, you're missing out. I do. I have it on my phone. Go to TapTapSend. Download it on your phone through your Apple Play Store, Google Play Store. I don't know what phone you have. Just download it. For the first transaction, use promo code AKUSIKA. My full name, no spaces, no hyphen, no nothing. AKUSIKA. If it's your first transaction, listen, first transaction. If you live in Canada and the States, they give you an extra $15 to send to your family. So if you're sending $100, $200 to somebody where you get an extra 15 to send to your family back home on your first transaction. Now, the rates of sending are fantastic. So, I mean, after you sent it the first time, you just keep sending because you get the best rates for your family back there. If you live in Europe, it's €5 extra on that first transaction. If you live in England, the UK, it's £5. There's nothing to be lost and everything to gain. So if you haven't downloaded it already, I beg, download and use that. If you love me, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I beg you. It's Sika Educates. Same name on YouTube. We're over 61,000 people now on Facebook. If even 10% of us made a move also to YouTube, can you imagine how further these messages will go for other people as well to learn lessons from? A word to the wise is enough. But don't do things from emotion and impulse. Think about it. If you don't have any intuition from the heavens to take no action, don't do it. Because the same thing that you're trying to do that you think is going to bring you happiness will end up being the worst nightmare of your lifetime. I'll end it here. I love you. Thank you, Sister Teresa. Thank you, Sister Janet, Marie, Pastor Patience, Nicolene, Sister Adama, Anne, Zuko. I love everybody so much. Sister Dorcas. If I didn't say your name, it's not because I don't love you, but we could be here all day. And I need to go. I love you so much. Have a lovely, blessed week ahead. And I'll see you in the morning for another fabulous session. Bye.